If you don't know who Julio Rodriguez is, all you need to do is watch the Home Run Derby from July 2022 to understand the hype.
What a start to this derby! 32 shots for Julio Rodriguez and a standing ovation.
The young phenom hit 30 home runs in 2 separate rounds and finished as the runner-up to Juan Soto, a generational talent in his own right. J-Rod was able to double his salary thanks to the second place finish too. But it's not just his power that makes him exciting, though his 18 bombs this season have certainly given the Mariners fans something to be excited about. But even if you do know who Julio is, you might be underrating him. Over the past 4 months, the rookie has not only firmly established himself as the AL Rookie of the Year favorite, but also as one of the most talented players in all of baseball. But just as recently as the beginning of May, this wasn't looking like it was a possibility at all. See, coming into the 2022 season, Rodriguez was one of the best prospects in the game, but some weren't sure if he'd see major league action right out of the gate. Between the usual service time manipulation, think what the Cubs did with Chris Bryant or the Braves did with Ronald Acuna Jr., and the fact that he'd only played 46 games above high A, it wouldn't be shocking to that many people if he hadn't made the opening day roster out of the gate. But the Seattle Mariners weren't going to play those games with Julio, announcing he was going to make the opening day roster with this amazing video.
Yeah, come on. I think it's time to bring on the J-Rod show. Okay. You go for that?
Still, some wondered if the center fielder could handle the challenge right out of the gate. And at first, his detractors looked to be right. And it's not that they necessarily hated J-Rod himself. He had dominated AA in 2021, but he was rocking a batting average on balls in play over a 430. And if you watched my Tim Anderson video, you would know that that's nearly impossible to maintain at the major league level. And as I've previously mentioned, he had only played 46 games in AA and hadn't played it all in AAA to begin with. So when April ended and J-Rod was hitting 205 and had a slugging percentage under 300, some wondered if the M's had pushed him too quickly. He wasn't even the first high-ceiling young outfielder to struggle for the Mariners at the major league level either. Jared Kelenic, another one of the Mariners' top prospects, has still yet to produce at the major league level despite dominating the minors. So if you were a Mariners fan, you'd probably be justified in worrying that Julio might be turning into another Kelenic. But here's the thing, J-Rod's struggles might not have solely been his fault, because one area of concern, his high strikeout rate, wasn't entirely on him. See, umpires looked like they had some personal vendetta against the rookie. His strikeout rate was 37% at the end of the month, but of his 30 strikeouts, 10 of them were called on pitches outside of the zone. That's 33% of his strikeouts on pitches that he didn't swing at that were balls. Like, look at this. This is as brutal as it gets.
You talk about shaving an outside corner with a fastball.
If you were to take away those strikeouts, his K rate would have been at 24.6%, and this is essentially where his K rate has sat each month after April, by the way. Some of these bad calls might have led Julio to swing at more pitches out of the zone the following month, as his walk rate dropped in half in May, but this did help mitigate his high strikeout rate. And surprisingly, swinging away didn't actually hurt him, because his May was explosive. He hit above 300 and slugged over 500, and by the end of the month, he had already vaulted himself to the Rookie of the Year favorite in the American League. Crazy for a guy who some thought should be sent down.
If it gets overwhelming, then you have to send him back down to get his confidence back.
Since then, Julio has increased his walk rate while maintaining his strikeout rate in the mid-20s. And while his season WRC plus is 136, 36% better than a league average hitter, his lowest WRC plus in a month after April was his May, where it was 149. He's been absolutely on fire since his second month, and if it weren't for his horrible first month dragged down by umpires, his WAR would probably be much higher than the 3 wins it is now. Of course, if J-Rod's abilities ended at his hitting, we'd still be astounded by his skills. He's an outstanding player on his hitting alone, but he's not just a runner, he's a track star.
Ay, she's a runner, she's a track star.
Sorry, I mean he's not just a power hitter, he's a legitimate 5-tool guy. J-Rod's batting average is 274. This puts him solidly at 47th in the league. And while his expected batting average is a bit lower at 253, it's not a knock against what he does when he does make contact. He's in the 90th percentile in average exit velocity, max exit velocity, hard hit rate, and barrel percentage. And if you're not familiar with these stats, this just means that when he's making contact, he's hitting the ball harder than anyone else in baseball. And if you hit the ball hard, there's a much better chance that you're getting on base, even if you don't manage to park one over the fence. Additionally, while he's only in the 36th percentile in walks in the major leagues, the only month he's had a walk rate under 7.5 was in May, when he was still trying to figure out this umpire stuff. Julio is also a center fielder. If you watch my Michael Harris video, you might remember me talking about just how valuable Harris is as a defender alone. J-Rod is just this. Defensively, he's one of the best in the game. He's essentially like Harris with an extra month and a half of games defensively. And by the way, they're the same age. By outs above average, Julio rates in the 91st percentile. This again means that he's valuable enough on defense not to hit at all. But did we mention that he's one of the best hitters in the game? I think we did. Also, Julio is very fast. Like, very fast. Faster than Michael Harris, faster than almost any player in the game. Before the season began, Fangraphs gave him a 60 grade for speed. If you don't know how grades work, 80 is the highest, 20 is the lowest. A 60 grade player is a very fast player, but this still might be underselling him, because by sprint speed, he's the 16th fastest player in all of the game, right ahead of Mike Trout. While his power's been a notable focus, especially thanks to his showing in the home run derby, it's his speed that might make him a better player than you realize. Here's why. He has the chance to do something historic thanks to his wheels. He has 21 steals, which means he actually has 3 more steals than he does home runs. In all of Major League history, there have been 43 30 homer, 30 steal seasons, otherwise known as a 30-30 season. In recent years, Ronald Acuna Jr., Cedric Mullins, and Jose Ramirez have been the young stars who've accomplished this feat. But in the history of the game, there's only been one other rookie to manage a 30-30 season. The player? Mike Trout. Who else? And Julio Rodriguez is just on track. If Julio can continue his homer and steal rate at this pace, he could become just the second rookie in Major League history to have a 30-30 season. Rodriguez did miss the first few games back from the All-Star break. Some wonder whether his home run derby performance may have hurt his wrist, but he's already back, and he did this in his first at-bat.
Track deep to left. Julio, he's back, everybody.
Let's hope this is a sign that there shouldn't be anything to worry about when it comes to his wrist. The Mariners are currently in second place in the AL West, though they're 10 games back. What you should really care about is the wildcard standings, because if the season ended today, the Mariners would qualify as the second wildcard team. This is huge because the Mariners haven't been to the postseason since 2002. This is the longest postseason drought in the major leagues, and they wouldn't be there without J-Rod's contributions. Aside from his season-long stats, he was right there in the middle of the action as the Mariners took 14 games in a row in July. And this was during a relative cold spell where he only had a 143 WRC plus in that span. Also, I just have to mention his YouTube channel. For a guy who can't speak English,
he is loud, his English is not tremendous.
His YouTube channel sure shows otherwise, and it's exciting to have a young superstar grow the game by showing us just a little bit behind the curtain. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Julio's the clear favorite for Rookie of the Year in the American League, and even though he's been outstanding, he's probably been better than you thought.